All right, we're live.
Great. Welcome, everyone, to another Facebook Live with Dr. Nelva Bryant. Um, we have Dr. Nelva Bryant, who just waved to you, and I'm Greta Russo, and we are so excited to have our guest today. You all know that Dr. Bryant works for Delta, and she gives us all these great tips from flying with our pets commercially, whether it's in cabin or if you need to put them in cargo. But I'm so excited because we're going to have Canine, the founder of Canine Jets here. And we're going to talk about you and any size dog. I love the fact that he allows cats, and we'll get to find out if there's more animals that get to go in the private jet. But we get to travel first class in a private jet with our pets. So I'm super excited.
I think that's great. You've connected with them to give another option for our our followers, because some might say, "Hey, what if you have a dog or a cat that, number one, maybe because of their age or could have an underlying condition, they need to be with the pet parent during transport, and they want to have a close watch over them during transport. So here's an option here where, hey, you might have to get a private jet. And here's a company that will allow you to transport your pet in cabin with you. Doesn't matter the size, and it can be along with you during transport. So it's an option. It's a viable option. I think our followers should know about this as well.
Absolutely. I would imagine he's probably doing very well because there's so many pet parents that truly believe, and as they should, their pets are their children. And, if I would imagine traveling on a private jet is less stress for you as the pet parent and the pet. The pet, I wonder, and I will have to ask, can they come out of the crate, or out of their carrier? Do they sit in the seat and get harnessed in, or do they sit on the floor? I'm really curious about all these things.
Look, I personally never been on a jet before, so I wouldn't know. So it'd be very good to share. How do you travel in a jet? I mean, is it specific seats? I know a couple of years back, there used to be a airline that was focused on just transporting pets in cabin, but I think theirs were like cages still, but they were in cabin, but they were still in actual cages and everything like that. So again, it'd be great to know, what does it look like? I think our followers would definitely like to know. And excuse my dog. Excuse me.
Is that
Maya, and she has her buddy here. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you earlier. I got my buddy. Her buddy is Pac, my niece's dog, and he's visiting with us right now because my niece is going into labor any day now. So
how exciting!
Yeah,
how exciting!
So he's on vacation. It said he's on vacation here because there's toys galore that Naya does not play with, and he plays with everything. So he's having fun.
Well, it sounds like Naya wants to hear all about Canine Jets.
Yeah. Excuse me, one quick second. I think I don't know if I'm gonna have to put her out. Are you gonna be good? Okay. She's good. If she does it again, I'm gonna have to let her out. But overall, I think we're ready to go with Adam. Like I said, there's a lot of questions, and I'm sure our followers will like to hear, what is the environment like? Our pets, are they sitting, or are they in the seat? Do they have to bring their carrier? Do they mingle with other dogs? I mean, a lot of questions here. So definitely looking forward to Adam coming on board.
Absolutely. Well, if you want, we can
go ahead and pop them in.
Oh, sure.
Hi guys, how you doing? You okay?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, very well. Nice to meet you both.
Good.
Hi.
What do you want me to do?
Huh?
You're gonna go ahead and give our intro for Adam.
Oh. Yes, I am, Miss Dr. Nelva Bryant.
Sorry.
I told you, Adam, we're not your professional show.
Yeah, give us a minute. We'll get there.
We're very silly.
What I like is that we're genuine people, and the flops and the whatever mishaps. This is just us, and this is life. So
don't you worry.
So you relax too. So don't you worry. You relax as well.
So let me introduce Adam Goldard, the founder and the founder of Canine Jets. Canine Jets, the pet-friendly pay-per-seat service, is founded by a UK-based couple, former executive assistant Kirsty Golder and private pilot Adam Golder. Their expertise gained within their boutique private jet brokerage, G6 Aviation, catering for high net worth families, music moguls, footballers, and royals, has been the springboard enabling the new Canine Jets service dedicated to pet owners, tailored to deliver the same high level of customer service already committed to their high net worth client base. Everyone, please help us welcome Adam Golder. Yay!
Very happy, Adam. Very
Thank
happy
you.
you're
Thank
here.
you so much. What a build up. What a build up.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to finally get together. So thank you so much for having us on.
Oh, absolutely. We before you came on, we were talking about how excited we are to have you so that we can really dive in because both Dr. Bryant and I are inquisitive people. So don't mind if we remind you of children and we're like, tell us more. So, you know.
No, far away. Absolutely. Ask as much as you want. Yeah,
Well,
it's,
please tell us about yourself and your program. How does this all work?
Yeah, so it's kind of self-explanatory, I guess. We're a pet-friendly pay-per-seat private jet service. So rather than buying a seat on a commercial aircraft, you're buying a very much a private service, and it comes along with all the benefits of flying privately, which for most people that won't have flown privately, it enables you to have a cost-effective option to fly with your pet in the cabin of an aircraft. Mainly across the Atlantic, but we do the coast to coast flights at the moment, and we're hopefully expanding more into the US. Yeah, you simply buy a seat for yourself, which includes one large dog or two small pups, or two cats, as you mentioned, and they get to fly with you in the cabin all the way, and they don't leave your side. There's no crates, so they either sit on your lap or by your side or by your feet throughout the whole flight. And one of the many advantages of flying privately, as you mentioned in your intro, is about the stress-free environment. So many times when you fly internationally, or if you're flying with your pet, you may have to leave them 2 or 3 hours before if they're going by cargo. Whereas this way, they stay with you right by your side. We don't have a size restriction, so we have everything from small Jack Russells up to Great Danes. So there's no restriction on size. Our aircraft will use a Gulfstream G4s and 5s for the longer distances, and we have a maximum of 10 people on each aircraft, typically 10 dogs, but just depends on the passengers on the actual on that particular flight, but typically 10 passengers or maximum of 10 passengers and 10 pups. And yeah, that's and at the moment we fly between East Coast, London, Paris, Lisbon, and Frankfurt, Dublin, and hopefully soon in Milan. And then we fly East Coast to West Coast, so from LA to New Jersey, and New Jersey to LA. And most recently, we just launched LA direct to London. So that's our most recent launch. And yeah, as you kind of mentioned, we're a small family business. We launched in March this year, and so far we've transported nearly 500 people and their pets, mainly across the Atlantic, but also from East Coast to West Coast and vice versa. So it's especially if you're flying across the Atlantic, there are only kind of 2 options or 3 options really now to get your pet across. So you either go by cargo. There's a Queen Mary 2, which takes about 7 days to fly across. To sail across, or you fly on our service on a private jet. So this concept initially started by people getting together on Facebook. So especially during COVID, the price of cargo, as you guys probably are most familiar with, went up considerably. So traditionally, people would only put their pets in cargo because that was the only option. But during COVID, where people are, we understand there's huge amount of new pets brought, and everyone got much closer to them more than ever before. And basically the whole concept of this was born out of the fact that people didn't want to fly, put their kids, as most of our passengers refer them to, in the cargo. So they clubbed together and chartered a jet, and that's how we got involved initially through our sister business. And but every time we had an opportunity like that, well, our passenger was saying, look, hey, just launch a company where you can simply go online, buy a seat for you and your pet. You don't have to worry about meeting people on Facebook. And so yeah, that's what we did. And hopefully I'll explain that right, but I'm sure you have a ton of questions to ask.
Well, in addition to the program that you just spoke about, so what would a cost be for going from New Jersey to LA versus going from New Jersey to London?
Yeah, so LA or New Jersey to LA is about 5.5 hours in one of our jets, and so the price is just over $6,000, $6,350. The price from going from New Jersey to London is a little bit more because it's a further distance. London to New Jersey to London about 6.5 hours typically at the moment with the jet streams, and that the cost of that is just under $9,000, and that includes the passenger and one large pet or two smaller ones.
Okay.
All inclusive.
Okay, very good, very good. And Dr. Bryant, would you, just for, to give a comparison, so not in quality of flight, but if people wanted to fly from their pet in cargo, how much is that to go from New Jersey to LA?
I'll be honest with you. I really don't know. I don't pay attention to the pricing, but it could be probably for just cargo for your pet, and cargo probably could be up $500 or more, potentially around.
Okay, but I would imagine it's not the same quality, so I'm not comparing that. No, and people have so many.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the benefits of folks wanting their pets with them. I do respect.
Oh my God. Yeah, because there's so many people that get so nervous about their pets going in cargo. What's happening during that flight, that long 5-hour flight? What about the food? What about the water? What if they got to go to the bathroom? What if they have a health issue? There's just so many things. What if it's too hot? What if it's too cold? And with the private jet, you're paying for comfort. I'm sure it's almost, if you can imagine jet service, I'm sure there's almost a type of door-to-door type of service as opposed to going through a terminal.
Yeah.
So
my question for you would be, how do you know, and this is more for international shipments, how are you knowing that these pets meet the requirements of that destination country? Because that's huge. Because you can fly them in there, Adam, and they not meet the requirements, and they'll have to go right on back. So, what do you guys have in place to make sure they meet the requirements?
Yeah, sure. So we have to make sure everything meets their requirements before they even step on the aircraft, awesome. Because these flights are one way. They're not returning. So if you weren't accepted in the country, we can't just return. So. And in fact, that's one of the main questions we have actually about quarantine. A lot of people in the US and other countries believe that there's quarantine in the UK when you arrive, but there isn't any actually. So and the same in Europe. So if you're flying from the US and you have the correct paperwork, so yeah, we have a company that we work with called Positive Pet Health Certificates.
Oh, I love it.
They're our friends.
We know them.
Oh, they're your friends. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So it's Nicole and Mary. they approached us just before we launched and said, "Hey, can we get involved?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So, they're very much a small business like us, and they really help us on our journey. So we basically have some basic checks. About 6 weeks out of a flight, when you're flying into London, we'll do Teams call with everyone and kind of talk them through what to expect. And from about 6 weeks out, we'll ask them to send in or upload their rabies certificate, because rabies is one of the most common areas where people fall down on. And we've had some passengers this year, unfortunately, have been told by their vet that their rabies was valid and it wasn't, the rabies the vaccination. So, and when they came to fly, they weren't labeled to, basically. So 6 weeks out, we have a call with everyone to just explain what's required. So if you're flying into the UK, it's a GB health certificate endorsed by the USDA. If you're flying to Europe, it's a EU health certificate. So there's very, very much a difference now since Brexit's happened. If you're flying into London, obviously you need a current rabies vaccination and tapeworm treatment between 5 days and 24 hours before you arrive. So we talk through that. We encourage people to use positive health certificates, because for a few $100s, they'll just arrange everything for you, and it makes everything takes all the stress. Because one of the main stresses we find with our passengers, the number one reason for doing this is purely for the pups or the cats, and the main worry is them being allowed in the country and everything going smoothly. So it was a lot of time and emphasis and hand holding is taking place on that, just to make sure everything goes well. But we recommend using Nicole and Mary just to help them through that. But we check it every stage of the way, and then also we have to. So we have a flight tonight. It's leaving in a few hours at 9 p.m. in Teessborough, and so if the last couple of days, all their health certificates have been approved by the airport they're flying into, Farnborough, by the local pet team, who will be allowing them in the country, basically. So when the aircraft, they've all been pre-approved, but when the aircraft lands in the morning, the pet team will border force will walk on the aircraft first of all. They'll check all the passports of the passengers, and then they come off, and then the pet team will come on, and one by one they'll just double check the paperwork that they've seen from the USDA on the jet. They just get a stamp, and then they can just simply walk off, and their friends and family are just at the bottom of the steps to come to collect them, and then they drive off from there. So it's as simple as that. So it's super smooth.
It seems like an easy process.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
well,
it is.
Because you got that back, you got folks to assist. That's what's and you're with that teams call and following up 6 weeks prior. That's what's making it easier for you, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's it is very much a one-on-one service, I guess, and that's partly what people are paying for. But I'd probably add that the majority of folks that are flying with us are not wealthy at all. The majority of people are relocating for work, whether that may be for military reasons or they work in tech or a different type of firm, and they've looked at the cost. So I had a lady that phoned me today. Actually, she has King Charles Spaniel. Her mum had sadly passed away, who lives in New York, and they're trying to get her dog back to the UK for Christmas. And she had a quote today for King Charles Spaniel, just cargo, and it's going to be about $5,000 just from New York to London. But the dog is 13. He's got a few, he's old, and they just didn't want to put him cargo. But for an extra few $1,000s, the lady can fly with him herself. They don't have to leave him, and especially if the pups are a little bit older, that may want a little bit of support, and you just you'd feel awful sticking in cargo. Then it's a big selling point.
I think it's about a viable option for those situations like that, because some pets are not medically fit for travel at that point, because again, they need constant care, and you want someone to attend to them. And I'm not saying that the airline is not going to monitor or anything like that, but there's a period of time where no one can see them. If they're in a cargo hold, you say if it's a 5-hour flight, well, there's definite 5 hours that we don't know what's going on with that pet. and they might need attention, and it might be too late by the time they get to the destination. So having somebody there with them immediately and could just tend to them if something happens, that's what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's great. And normally when the aircraft arrive, they'll taxi to an area where there's grass. So literally you exit the aircraft and then the dogs can go and go and potty and as soon as they can. So a lot of people ask about what happens on the aircraft because they're not in a crate. What happens if they need the toilet? But generally, all our flights are at night. So tonight the flight leaves at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So we kind of advise the owners to thoroughly exercise the dogs before the flight. They meet an hour before to socialize with all the other people that are on the flight with them. We advise to probably slightly restrict their diet on the actual day of the flight as well, just to make sure that bowels are clear, shall we say, or clearer. But generally, after they can literally use the grass outside the terminals until about 50 minutes before, and then they board the aircraft. And generally, after about 45 minutes, they'll all be asleep, including the passengers, and they'll sleep until they arrive, and then just like a normal night. But they wake up and they're in the UK or in Paris or Germany. So it's quite cool. So.
Why do you choose to travel at night?
Just generally because the pups are more sleepy. So they're more like, a lot of we find actually, we do have some daytime flights as well, where they do generally sleep because of the white noise effects of the aircraft. But on the nighttime flights, they're much more likely to sleep because it's their own nocturnal, time to sleep. So seems to help.
Right.
Okay. I wanted, you went through the whole process about dogs. So what about cats? What is your travel program for them?
Yeah, so very similar, but they have to be created for obvious reasons. So we do have mixed flights with pups and cats, but for obvious reasons, they have to stay in their crates. So I think tonight, actually, we have 2 cats flying with 8 pups on one of the aircraft. We have 2 aircraft tonight, and they're very much cared for just as much as the pups are. They'll sit by the owners by their sides generally, and they can't get them out in the cabin. But if they wish to take them to the bathroom, they can take them out there and get them a cuddle and change their crate if need be and things like that. So we're very much cat friendly.
If we bring a cat on the trip, are we allowed to bring like a portable litter pan? Have you found cats can hold themselves for all that time?
No one's ever asked to bring one with them. So maybe someone has actually, and we obviously said yes. But I think they actually use the bathroom area because the bathroom in one of the aircraft isn't huge, but is fairly sizable where you could put a tray down. But typically they'll sleep in the evening time anyway. But if they do have any accidents, the passengers would just change their pee pads, they're lined their crates with, just to make sure that things. As you can imagine, if they did, there'd be quite a lot of smell in the cabin if there was.
It would be kitty. I'm sorry. I always say the worst smell ever is kitty poop. Oh my God, that's the worst ever. But I don't think even for any animals, I will be almost the same premise with dogs. They're not going to need to really go to the bathroom. The hope is that they're going to fall asleep, and you won't have any issues regarding that. But I would probably think somewhere along the line, a portable litter box would be ideal for before or after the trip, just to give them that opportunity to relieve themselves. But I always recommend I know some folks are thinking that they should have the carrier and put a litter box inside of it. I wouldn't recommend that because it would be a mess with shifting around and litter. So, but have something separate probably for them.
We're looking at some products actually for the longer flights, especially. So because we do next year we're doing LA direct to London, which is between 10 and 11 hours, and a much longer flight. So we're looking at special dog beds which absorb any liquid, basically. So we're just looking into that with various different companies at the moment. So I should let you know. I'd like to run it past you. See.
Well, you know, technology, they might develop something for you within a time frame where they could easily go and in a sanitary fashion, kind of something clean, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, for cats or small dogs, you could use the pee pads. That is very absorbent, and you know, you can throw away as soon as you're done. Also, if you would like, you can require, even if it's with the elderly dogs, for them to wear the diapers, the canine diapers, and I think they have cat diapers as well. So that's another thing that could help, especially for those long front flights.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I like. If people ask me about, you know, what do you recommend? I always say pee pads or the diapers, and that'll definitely make things a lot easier for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we provide pee pads everywhere just to protect the aircraft, because you know the 10 to sort of $20 million aircraft, so we have to make sure that we keep them in a good condition. And we have to pay for any damage. So yeah, the aircraft's covered with pee pads, and if anyone needs them, then we provide them extra, which is obviously included in the price. But we encourage everyone to bring their blankets or even their dog beds as well, just to make sure they're comfy, and they're in a familiar familiar smell, or bed, obviously, which they're very familiar with, just to help the sleeping process. So.
Yeah.
What's the most interesting animal? Have you transported any other animal besides the dogs and cats? Have you done anything else?
Not yet. I mean, we've done rabbits, which have been super cute, into Lisbon. They're not allowed to fly into the UK, unfortunately, unless they go cargo. But yeah, rabbits has been the only other thing apart from dogs and cats. We've had quite a few people talk about parrots, and into Europe, and we did have a call about an alligator, which was a negative. We weren't allowed to take alligators for obvious reasons. But yeah, we just specialize in domestic dogs and cats.
Okay.
I think they want to go. They all like hearing about it, don't they?
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. I know that Dr. Bryant and I, when we come on here, we talk a lot about helping your cat or dog deal with their anxiety, and a lot of that can be taken care of with the preparation of going on the trip. So I wanted to, number one, ask, do you find any of the cats or dogs anxious when they get on your jets? I would imagine there would be less, but if you do find any that are like that, do you actually have anything in place to help with that?
So I think a lot of the time I personally find. I mean, I've flown twice on one of our services, so I'm speaking from experience, but also from what a feedback I get from passengers and the crew on the flight as well. And I feel that a lot of the time the anxiety of the pets is based upon the anxiety of the passengers. So if the passenger is really anxious, that relays straightly on their pet, whether it's a dog or cat, but mainly dogs. You can really see the connection. So that's why we kind of do these Teams calls, and we do a lot of hand holding. We have our staff that will literally be right with them right until they board the aircraft, just to kind of keep them calm, keep everyone calm. But yeah, I think there are a lot of anxious pets, especially because they're probably people that may not have even left America before, not alone being on a private jet. There's lots of different sounds and things to be that are different to a commercial flight. But once generally everyone's taken off, and they're in the cruise, everyone settles down. So which I think is fairly normal to any commercial flight as well. From a passenger perspective. So there's a lot of nervous flyers out there. They just want to get up there, and once they're up there, they can sort of kind of relax. So like takeoff and landing for a lot of people is the most anxiety led time, and I think that's the same for animals as well, especially if they don't know what's going on, all these sounds, all the gear and the flaps and all that sort of stuff, and engine noises. But yeah, so if anyone, we haven't had this request particularly, but if anyone wanted to see what the jet was like, we can either provide a video and provide the actual sounds, so they know what to expect and they can play it to the animals, or if they actually wanted to see one of the jets before they flew and we have something available, we'd ask them to come down and sort of have a look around, get familiar. But also, really, from a medical perspective, a lot of people ask because about medication. So obviously, we're not a vet, so we can't give them any advice. But we say, look, speak to your vet, see if they advise anything for your particular pet. And a lot of people go down the herbal route, and there's a lot of anxiety drugs. The herbal, I believe, that a lot of our passengers use, and I think it does take the edge off them generally, from what I understand from the feedback we've had. I guess that's another advantage as well. So when you fly cargo, you're not allowed to give any medication to your pups or cats for obvious reasons, because you're not with them. But being with them in the aircraft, you are able to do that when you fly with us. So yeah. I think that just super anxious dogs, that especially, that I think that has helped in the past. But we always recommend the passenger speaking to their vet for the best advice. And if they're going to go down that route, just trial it before the flight as well, just to make sure it doesn't upset their stomachs and they don't react in a different way than they would do normally. So, but yeah, there's a couple of different ways there. But yeah, we like to hear what what their needs are, and then we'll try and help them from there and direct them from there.
I think I agree with you totally there. It's totally different when they're in cabin compared to going by cargo. When pets are being transported by cargo, the airlines usually no sedation is allowed. So any medication that potentially can cause sedation, and that could be anti-anxiety medication like trazodone. It could be, to be honest with you, antihistamines, which side effect causes drowsiness. So any medication that potentially can cause sedation is not allowed. So that's cargo. But in cabin, it's really up to the pet owner to decide. I still don't think, it's not like it's any different. The medication will have the same impact if you're in cabin or cargo. The difference is the pet owner's with the animal, if it's in cabin with them, kind of thing there. Yeah. You know what, though? You made me think something, Adam. You ever thought about music? Because now I'm thinking about my buddy Garrett from Zounds Music for Pets, because he develops music that calms pets. Okay. And he was interested in the airline industry, potentially of having the music related to the crate or somehow, or have it say in a cargo warehouse where you're accepting animals, there's music playing to calm them and get them ready for the flight. But see, for yours, is outstanding because you can play this nice, calm music that's scientifically based for dogs or for cats or, for those species and everything. And that would be ideal during transport.
Yeah, it would be, we'd be super interested to know more about that. But I'm not too sure if the private, the Gulfstreams that we use have that capability to pump it out over a PA. I don't think they have a PA system, but I'll have to find out. I'm sure. Maybe they will, but yeah, it would be interesting to find out more information about that. Especially for
I can connect you guys, because I think that's something that you never know. I can connect you guys and you can see.
Yeah, it'd be great. Thank you so much.
Well, I do know that it can play through the phone, so that you can download an app and then it can play. So maybe if there was a way to set that up inside the cabin where it was downloaded to a phone that might be mounted on a stand, and you can just play it while everybody's in the cabin.
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, it's a good idea. I like
Yeah.
it.
This
Yeah.
music is utilized by shelters too. They use it within shelter facilities to calm the pets and the dogs and stuff like that, or the cats. So he's doing a lot with that and everything, and it's scientifically based. So, like I said, I'll make an introduction for you guys. You never know where it can go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're open to improvements. Absolutely. So anything that helps the pups and on board is much welcome. So thank you so much.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Just so that you know, if you needed to get a recommendation, they just created a partnership with the ARC at JFK. So now they're inside their facility, and the ARC has noticed a huge difference for all of the cats and dogs that are staying there.
Great. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
interesting. I think I might have seen them on Instagram, I think, recently actually. So
Mhm.
I'll definitely have to
Yeah.
have a look.
A great company, excellent product, and a young man just like yourself that is trying to make a safer world for our pets.
Look, and again, and it's a small world, but you know what? We've met. It's funny how you mentioned positives,
Yeah,
health certificates. We've met them, and again, I introduce you to Derek. It becomes a small world, and
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
I just love it. I love it.
yeah,
Yeah, no, they're a great team. We're actually going to see them in a couple of weeks into to New York to go meet them. So yeah, it's they've been a pleasure to work with. So but yeah, it's generally I think this is going back to the passengers that fly with us, because we do have some wealthy passengers that fly for leisure reasons, but the majority of people are flying like I said, relocating for work, or retire coming back after being one country for years, or moving from west to east. But one thing they all have in common is that they all have their pets. So it doesn't matter
yeah,
if you're super wealthy or you just put this on a credit card and you probably not likely to pay it off for a long time. The one thing they do have in common that they all have their pets, and that is like comes out in it doesn't really matter who you are. It's the fact that they all have their pets. So it's really nice to see. So the whole industry is we feel is like that as well, especially the pet size, because we are part of members now as well. So a lot of the other members are very similar personality like that, if you know what I mean. So
yeah. So I have a question. So I know probably since you mostly travel at night, this doesn't apply, but if your cat or dog wanted to have a snack or even a meal, do you allow that on the flight?
yeah, I mean, we allow snacks, absolutely. We probably wouldn't encourage a full meal, um, just in case it moves things along. But yeah, we don't disallow it. So if someone wanting to feed their dog, then that's up to them. But we do ask them to take responsibility of the area they're in. So but yeah, a lot of people we actually have snacks. We have some Canine Jets biscuits that we cookies that are made locally to where we are, that are on all our flights, which the pups like. I'll have to send some to you guys, and I'll bring some over for you.
Oh, that's good.
And
What
we
about
do
what
give
about
some.
for the kitties? Don't forget our kitty cats. What do they get?
Yes. Well, we don't actually have a cat treat yet, so we
Okay.
need to work on that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. Can't forget the kitties.
I know.
So with with your flight, because I know you guys are hands-on with very high-end customer service, and you're really attentive to both the passenger and the pet's needs. Do you have any other businesses that help in the experience of taking one of your jets? So, for example, I know you mentioned you have dog beds. So, do you have anything else that provides comfort while the pets are in flight?
We don't. So the dog bed idea was purely come out of the fact that it's a little bit longer flight, because we at the moment we ask everyone to bring their own blankets and anything that will make the pups comfortable in flight. So we don't supply anything else in addition to what is on a normal flight, like a normal charter jet. But we do ask the passengers when we brief them to just bring anything you need, whatever it is to make your pets comfortable in the flight, to bring it with you. So we don't provide anything extra. It's relatively straightforward. And like I said, they sleep for the majority of the journey. One thing that we do ensure, and we use an operator that's super pet friendly, and all their staff love the pet flights that we do, and they're very hands-on in the cabin as well. So the majority of our passengers are traveling alone. So we get quite a few questions saying, well, what if I need to use the bathroom? What's going to happen to my dog if they can't? But once they're on board, we don't let them wander up and down the cabin. They have to stay by your feet, just to kind of stop any crossover. But if someone needs the bathroom, for example, themselves, then our flight attendants are more than happy to come and sit with your pup basically in that time. So I think just from a service perspective, that's where we're very much investing our time and effort at the moment, and just constantly trying to improve.
The flight attendant, or I don't know what you call them on a jet plane, but flight attendants would have to have a love of pets to be a part of the job description there. That you have to love and be
100%,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, they love it, and even the pilots love it as well, because they're used their normal type of clientele. There'd probably be a couple of people that they fly around, super wealthy people all day long, and they don't really get to speak to them. And I think there is a level of you probably picture the type of people that charter jets normally, that are very wealthy and they just want to get from A to B and that's it. Whereas the people that fly on our jets, the crew are like very much involved in them. They're speaking to them, making sure everyone gets on board, gets off. The cabin temperature's right. So it's very much like a commercial flight on a private jet, if that makes sense, in that manner. It's very much hands-on, and everyone interacts, and it's just a great experience. I don't know if you've been on our Instagram, but there's quite a few videos that crew have taken over
I need to see
flights.
That.
Yeah, have a look. There's it's sort of great. I mean, we get so many great images and videos back from our passengers on Instagram. So we love sharing them, and they get quite a lot of great feedback. So it's definitely worth having a look.
All right, that's fantastic.
I would say we can sort of start recapping. Could you tell me where in New Jersey are we coming out of Newark? Are you going Newark and LAX, or where could catch up one of your jets?
So either Van Nuys in LA, to Teterboro in New Jersey. So those are our two hubs in the US. So Teterboro is just next door to Newark. Basically, it's about 15 minutes away by car. But yeah, it's purely private, both of those airports. So it just allows an extra level of privacy for our customers, but also allows everyone to relax a little bit more. So when you arrive, you just arrive an hour before, like I mentioned, and it's just very much a relaxing experience. There's no queues at check-in. There's no queues for security. You still have to go through security, obviously, but you're not waiting in line for hours to get through.
No TSA pre-check line or anything like that to go through.
No, you still have to go through security, obviously, but and all your bags get scanned, but yeah, it's very much a relaxed experience. And literally when the flight's ready to board, which I'm looking at the time because they'll be boarding in the next couple of hours. Normally the jet's parked right outside the hangar, so there'll just be a 60-second walk, and they'll just walk and they'll just board one by one. So whoever's sat at the back first will board first, and then so on, and that's they'll be taken care of by a flight attendant. And then yeah, when they arrive into the UK tomorrow, it's a purely private airport in London as well. So when they arrive, like I mentioned earlier, their passports are cleared on the aircraft, so there's no going through customs or anything like that. It's all done on the aircraft, and yeah, they're free to go. And that's the same process if they're flying to Van Nuys or they fly to Dublin or Paris. Yeah, it's all very similar.
So I might have missed it, but how the airport suggests that you arrive to the airport? I think it's at least 2 hours before your flight. What is your suggestion arriving before the flight with you?
Yeah, so 60 minutes is what we like people to be there before. So generally, if you charter a jet, generally, people rock up 15 minutes before their flight time. But because we've got pets, we ask people to be there at least 1 hour before, and that is mainly because we like them to be social with each other. So we have a couple of socialization sessions. So when you arrive at the terminal, our staff will introduce you to the people you'll be sat next to, and we encourage those people to mix before the flight. So they'll be walking them outside and in the terminal and just get to know each other. Because normally there's quite a few happy barks and excitement, but generally once they get to know each other in that hour, it's kind of really good bonding period. And yeah, occasionally we get people that will get pups that don't like each other for whatever reason, and we just simply switch them with someone else. So when you book a seat with us, you don't have a particular seat. You don't choose a seat because they have to be super flexible. So because we put the seating plans together by breed and temperament. So when you book a seat with us, we ask you to tell us what breed, what weight, temperament, and any other things we need to know. So then we basically have a bit of a Tetris game of seating people where we think most likely will be best. And then when they arrive at the airport, our staff will introduce them.
It reminds me of almost like a wedding reception, and you're getting all the tables set up and say, no, this one can't sit next to this one because they don't like each other. Yeah. So you have to figure it all out. Wow.
It is very much like that. But yeah, it works. I think only very occasionally there's any issues where we have to switch people around.
Right.
We don't ask people to wear muzzles either, but we ask everyone to have a muzzle in their bag just in case, for whatever reason. Even if your pup doesn't normally wear one, because if you're at 40,000 feet and for whatever reason 2 dogs don't like each other and they just decide, it just adds a level of comfort for everyone and safety, just to pop it on if there's any issues. But touch wood, that hasn't had to happen at all in any of our flights, but it's just nice to have that there just as a safety net, really.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Adam, is there anything else you would like to share with everyone before we pop off?
Please, if you're interested in flying from the US to UK into Europe, or if you're from UK and you're looking to fly to the US, or you're looking to go coast to coast, please just reach out to us either by email or k9jets.com, or follow us on Instagram. Like I said, we're super hands-on. We're more than happy to take you any questions, and if we can't answer, we'll refer you to someone like positive pet health certificate guys, or there's generally a question around dog health certificates. So if we can't answer, we'll pass you on to someone else, but please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on. We really appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully we can meet in person one day in Texas, perhaps, or
absolutely.
That'd be awesome. Well, thank you so much, Adam, for being here. I really appreciate that, the opportunity for you to share this, because again, this is a viable option for folks that maybe they don't feel comfortable going by cargo. They're traveling internationally, they're moving internationally, or what have you, and they want their pet with them. This is a viable option. And then also, like I said, for your pets that are a little bit older and maybe have an underlying medical condition that needs care during transport, great option. So I love it. I love it. Thank you for coming on here and sharing this information with us.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
Thanks so much.
Yep. And I just wanted to point out real quick again that everyone can find out more about Canine Jets at caninejets.com. Follow them on social media. They have Instagram as well as Facebook and LinkedIn. And also they are a member of the IPATA, which you've heard Dr. Bryant talk about how that's the gold standard in quality, and great companies that adhere to being a part of the, I guess, aviation industry.
Mhm.
So,
Awesome.
well, Adam, thank you so much for joining us today. And Dr. Bryant, and I guess this is our time to say goodnight.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Adam, for
See you
coming.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.